Quick Slants is presented by your local New England Honda dealers.
Friends and loyal Quick Slants followers, we got a hell of a lot to get to in this here program. But first things first, Bill Belichick's got a contract, and he is not afraid to use it.
I'll meet with Robert like I always do, meet with the staff, meet with the personnel department, kind of recap the season, look at the big picture, and then look at some of the individual situations that are, looming one way or another. But that's, obviously a long way off from where we are right now. And so we'll start, at the end of the day, putting the pieces back together in terms of, setting things up to go through a good detailed analysis and to kind of, start a reconstruction, if you will.
A reconstruction. Well, this isn't just a big moment in Patriots history. It's a big moment in NFL history. You have the most successful coach of all time waiting to hear if he gets a mulligan after his first post-Brady reconstruction went off the rails. Ownership's decision was made weeks ago. And even though a heartwarming plea from Belichick may have given them cold feet, my sense is it will not. The decision is the decision. The parting of the ways will happen. The irony in this, of course, is that we all know what Bill would do if Bill was on the other side of the desk, and the reboot would be coming, and the reconstruction would be under somebody else's auspices, which is what's going to happen. Meanwhile, here's the game plan for today's program. The Vrabel domino. Mike Vrabel has cannonballed into the coaching pool. What about Mac? Also, Trent Brown. He unloads a little bit. Recycling projects. So many former Patriots coaches out there and executives, but when we talk about formers, we're talking about people who've moved on to greater things, and it's Kay Adams joining us right now. How are you, buddy? What are you doing? Where are you?
Hanging out in sunny Los Angeles, but this is not the center of the NFL universe. That is Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the chips continue to fall, and time's going, and meetings are being made with GMs, with coaches. We got to get going, New England.
Kay, when you look at this whole situation and what you've reported going back and the people that you've talked to, this outcome with the parting of the ways for Bill Belichick in the very near future, it's what you anticipated as well, correct?
I didn't think it would happen Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. And I think it's not the easiest parting of ways on both sides, on Mr. Kraft's side and, of course, Belichick's side, who's playing a perfect situation right now with the way he's addressing reconstructing and on to next year, on to this. There's draft picks, there's assets, there's a lot of money at play here. But no, I think it is over. I think it's been over. Vrabel, very interesting. I get the sense from people I talk to that Tom, like a lot of change might be hard to stomach. So Vrabel is a nice, comforting sort of blanket, which makes him an appealing candidate, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll delve into that, too, because even that might be more change than the Patriots are prepared to make if they have an heir apparent, as Robert Kraft called Gerard Mayo in the offseason, is already in-house. Meanwhile, though, it's time now for Quick Fire, presented by your New England Honda dealers. Here's Mike Vrabel's numbers as a head coach in Tennessee. See the numbers? Pretty good. The last 2 years, not so good, though. Kay, when you look at this, what do you think the fit? I'm like a little wobbly on my spot here. I'm going through my thing. Where am I?
Okay, listen, Vrabel did a lot with a lot of adversity, right? He had these guys playing for him when there was nothing to play for. A tough team, lots of injuries, hobbled. We saw how they ended the season. He finishes his tenure knocking out a Jags team that had everything to play for, 54-45 record. As you see there, I mean, to me, it all comes down with the connective tissue. It's very It's also cute storylines. It's if you're parting ways with Bill Belichick, is Vrabel a better option than Belichick? I don't know if Kraft's going to make that move or think that that's the right decision. It's certainly not, in my opinion, as sexy of a name as a Jim Harbaugh, who of course has the Don Yee thing going and might grab the allure. But both of those are pretty big swings for Robert Kraft.
They'd be especially big swings. My sense is, though, that the Patriots have been behind the scenes very methodical in everything that they have done. And while the injection, if you will, of Mike Vrabel into the conversation right now certainly changes things to a degree, I don't think the methodical nature of the Kraft's way of doing things is going to be completely altered. I think that they will stay on the course that they have been on since really last offseason. Meanwhile, here's Mike Lombardi speaking about the possibility of Bill Belichick moving on to Atlanta?
That tells me they're big game hunting. And if something happens up in New England, I think they're going to be big game hunting on him. And they should. And they should. If I'm Arthur Blank and I have a chance to go get the greatest coach of all time, I'm coming.
Tom, what do you think? Georgia Bill?
Yeah, really interesting when you think about it. You have an opportunity to go down there. And I think geography matters and ownership matters, Kay. And with Arthur Blank, you have a stable owner. With the geography, you are a hop, skip, and a jump from Jupiter, Florida, where Bill has been. You're not that far here from New England. Lickety-split, you're back up here, and you have an opportunity with some really good offensive pieces, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts among them, to be plug and play. So I think, Kay, it's an interesting landing spot, and anything that comes from the mouth of Mike Lombardi, Kay, relative to Bill Belichick, gives me extra pause.
Winnable division, add that to the list of
Exactly right.
There's some good openings though. I'm going to take it. Why are you doing my job, Tommy? Let me in here. Let's do it. Head coach openings. I want to take a look here. We got Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Falcons, Commanders, Titans so far. What's the best seat available?
I think the best seat available, in my estimation, does become perhaps the Tennessee Titans. Now, we could talk about the cap space available. We could talk about the geography and location. I don't think the pockets are deep enough with the Chargers to just roll that out there and say they have Justin Herbert. It's the best quarterback. It's the best location. I wonder when the Patriots move on from Bill, if the Patriots would actually be, to anybody, a team that if you just lined them all up, teams would say that's the best opening. Third overall pick, kick-ass defense, third most cap space. It is an interesting proposition, but they do have expansion-level talent on offense. To me, what do you think is the best opportunity?
I mean, the Patriots, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, which I believe like between him and Belichick are the belle of the ball candidates here, I do think the Patriots are a very attractive option. The Chargers, notoriously, historically, just objectively, there's some dysfunction there organizationally. Will Bill Belichick want to move his whole family? And I do mean he'll move his whole family because his sons are going to come with him. And then his grandkids are going to have to come with him all the way across the country. I don't know if I see it. I would steer people away from the Chargers also because I think we have this notion he's going to go where the quarterback is. That's never what Bill's done. He's not going to chase Justin Herbert. And I don't know how much reverence Bill Belichick has for Justin Herbert in the times that he's faced him. He sort of picked him up. And I think something like that really matters and people need to pay attention to that a little more. I'm going to go spin zone here. The best opening has yet not revealed itself.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then, because what if, for instance, the Chicago Bears were to move on surprisingly from Matt Eberflus? Here's something on the Bears we could take a look at. When you look at the draft order, you have the Bears at number 1, owning a Panthers pick, then 2, then 3 is the New England Patriots, also okay. And I know that you're a big Bears aficionado. Justin Fields is coming off not a horrible Mac-related year, but he's got something to prove. Here is Justin Fields.
I gave it my all, so whether it's here or not, I have no regrets. Shout out to, you guys for, making my job a little bit harder. But, just to the city of Chicago, love y'all, appreciate the fans and the support from all the Bears, in case this is my last rodeo with y'all, and just appreciate y'all for everything.
Wow. It was more emotional than I thought. Kay, what should the Bears do? Stick and pick, move on from Fields? What do you do?
I think they'll move on from Fields because it's cost effective. They can save a lot of money. They could, of course, keep him another year, trade that one number one overall pick, and get a lot of capital back to build around him. The Harrison Juniors, all of that. I think it's bigger than that. I do trust Poles. I think I trust Poles more than anyone in that building at this point. Speaking organizationally, even speaking attractiveness to candidates like a Bill Belichick, Chicago just is not a place that has gotten it right. They're not a place that develops quarterbacks well. Jay Cutler's franchise quarterback in history. So it's not a place, I think it's a place that needs a bit of an overhaul top to bottom.
It's going to have a domino effect on the Patriots. Meanwhile, whatever Chicago does, sticks, trades, whatever. So Mac Jones, meanwhile, he's in the same situation. I have stolen your job again. Go ahead.
Yes.
Are you mad at me? I did
go
a bad job. I did a bad job on the rundown. Mac Jones speaking on Monday to the Patriots collected media.
We'll see. I mean, like I just said, I'm going to compete regardless. So I'm really happy to be in the NFL and be a quarterback in the NFL. And obviously this year didn't go great, and I'm going to do everything I can and have done to get back on the right track.
The Senator Phil Perry in the background. You'll have to see it. I talked Fields, you talk Mac Jones. What do you make of it? Coming back?
Oh, man. Fortunately, free agency precedes the NFL draft. So if you get a free agent quarterback that you like as a veteran that can be the bridge quarterback behind or in front of Jaden Daniels or Drake May, bam, you're good. And you can say, Mac, you were awesome. You know what? We're going to trade you here in the draft. We're giving you a fresh start someplace else. But you can also hang on to Mac as long as you want, because I just don't think that he is a complete and utter bust. And there's nobody I speak to who knows football in the NFL, the coaches who say he outright sucks and he'll never be good. So I say you hold on to the asset as long as you could, even though he might be beyond salvaging.
There's something outside of the X's and O's as far as demeanor, as far as what I hear from people inside the building about isolation, about not playing the game, as far as the game of relationships, that I don't know if it's beyond repair.
Yeah. And I think that people like the kid, and he definitely doesn't have a shortage of work ethic. So those are things that might argue in his favor, but it has not been a good ride. Meanwhile, it's time now for From the Stands. It's presented by Shaw's. You know what? They're perfecting the art of fresh. Mike Vrabel, now a coaching Schwaze. Who would you prefer as the Patriots head coach in 2024? That's how you guys voted. Give me Vrabel. 44% jumped right on that wagon. 42%, I'm still for Bill. Mayo, please, just 5.8%, and 8.1% said other. I think the minority might be getting something that they really are happy about. Go ahead, Kay.
We have Brad on social media saying Vrabel would be Bill Light, bringing Eric Bieniemy to modernize the offense. 12 Musket says, why, TF, would you replace the GOAT defensive head coach with an above-average defensive head coach? It's a decision Kraft's going to have to make. Is Vrabel a better option? Does he have to shake up the mojo? Prosca80 says, hire a GM and let them pick the coach. No forced marriages. Teo says, love, but I would want Vrabel first. Sabrina says, bring someone new in that is not connected to the path for Bill. Both for the head coach and GM job. Bill something new. Don't pathetically chase the good old days. Rick says Vrabel has a career record. They got Tom Brady under center. That compares favorably to the delicate genius Bill Belichick. He is outvoted with 83 and 101.
The delicate.
So far, the GM is the more intriguing addition to me. This team needs a GM more than they need a head coach. Get somebody in here to get the right personnel around Mac or whoever it is.
And we wonder too, Kate, is it the GM? Is it Bill bigfooting the conversation in personnel? Is it GM and personnel deferring to Bill? In some way, they have to have a fresh set of eyes and a different philosophical bent on how they're going to run the football team. And I think that's what's coming.
I mean, people got to be putting their hat in the race. Or Thomas Dimitroff, you've got connective tissue there. Like, are you putting your hat in the ring? Like, I'm sure all of these GMs and these people are trying to get close to get Kraft to help make these decisions. I think it needs to be, whether it's a new head coach or not, it's the GM making the decisions. It shouldn't be so many things are a mystery in that organization in this past 20-something years. Who the GM is and who's making those decisions and who's accountable should not be one of them.
Kay, from FanDuel, you are the best. Did you have a good time today?
I had a great time. You have a lot going on. Here, people, Tom's juggling right now. What you all don't understand, Tom's like on the phone. He's working everything. He's working every angle, and he's got all the intel. So call me after the show, Tom. We got to talk.
I was disorganized. I apologize. I'll talk to you soon. All right, coming up after the break, you got my slant. Would Bill Belichick actually, quote unquote, relinquish personnel duties? See you after the break. Potential. Brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lepresti. Look younger, feel younger, get your hair back, just like I did. With Leonard Hair Transplant Associates. Notes from the dynasty. 6 Super Bowl wins, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 20 winning seasons, 30. Holy crap. Meanwhile, the dynasty itself will be airing on Apple TV beginning in mid-February, February 16th, written based on the book written by the author Jeff Benedict. Here is a snippet, the trailer dropped today, of Robert Kraft from this upcoming miniseries. All right, it's going to be fantastic. Streaming, as it said, on February 16th. We are going to build a lot of content around that. It's time now for my slant, and I want to start with that comment made by Robert Kraft, doing his best to keep things together. And if he's doing that right now, or giving Bill Belichick the opportunity to explain why he should, use this as fuel. Bill Belichick asked Monday if he's given thought to, quote, relinquishing personnel and draft responsibilities. His answer garnered a whole lot of attention. Here it is.
Look, I'm for whatever, collectively we decide as an organization is the best thing to help our football team. And, I have multiple roles in that, and I rely on a lot of people to help me in those responsibilities. If somebody's got to have the final say, I rely on a lot of other people to help, and however that whatever that process is, I'm only part of it.
From that answer, we got a whole lot of folks saying, hey, Bill's willing to relinquish GM duties, to which I say, come on. The guy is a master linguist. He said he'd be in favor of, quote, collectively what we decide as an organization is best to help our football team. He's part of that collective. But do you think he's going to agree to punt on final say? You think, for instance, he's going to be fine with wanting Jaden Daniels at number 3 and somebody else saying, yeah, no, Bill, we're not doing that. We're actually trading down. Or is someone telling Bill that a fat chunk of cap space is going to be spent on something Bill disagrees with? Again, come on. Somehow, though, Bill, in this answer, went from saying in 2022, ultimately it's my responsibility, like it always is, so if it doesn't go well, blame me, to now he's just a spoke in the wheel. He's just another bozo on the bus, huh? Come on! Phil, get in here. Talk to me, will you?
Come on!
What's the practicality of Bill actually going ahead without having final say?
Very, very low. I don't see it, Tom. It's not realistic. There's not a general manager on God's green earth right now who could go into a draft room or a free agency meeting and say, Bill Belichick, the greatest of all time, arguably the greatest head coach and greatest general manager of all time, this is how it's going to be done. And you're going to do as I say. And then you're going to go ahead as head coach and play the player that I want drafted or that I want to spend all this money on. It's just not realistic.
No, and there is, in addition to that, there is a sense of, hey, let's get the band back together that is constantly present with this team. And look at these names. Could you imagine a scenario with Bill in his final year, in the lame duck year, final year of his contract, with himself, Bill O'Brien, Gerard Mayo, Josh McDaniels, Mike Vrabel, and Joe Judge kicking around somewhere too? All those guys on staff. I mean, it's a lot of cooks. I mean, it's too many cooks. You need 9 kitchens. That's like 5 hotels worth of cooks.
Who's paying all these guys? That's an expensive staff right there is what that sounded like. He's always going to be the chief, right? Wherever he ends up. Even if he's telling himself he's willing to give up some personnel power, at the end of the day, even as aligned as you may be, head coach and general manager, at the end of the day, someone has to have final say. It's what Bill Belichick has had here, Tom, for almost a quarter century. It's going to be nearly impossible, if not impossible, for him to let that go.
Phil, you know, in 1978, which is like 8 years before you were born, there was a great song called Goodbye Girl, and it went, baby, goodbye doesn't mean forever. And if there's anything that Bill Belichick's drilled into this football watching region, it's that goodbye does not mean forever. Whether it's Deion Branch or Malcolm Butler or Trent Brown or Dante Scarnecchia, or Josh McDaniels, even Gerard Mayo, the recycling initiative never ends here. Is the Patriots' DNA that relates back to Bill that vital? Is that productive to continue this?
I don't think it's vital, Tom, but I do think relationships matter. And so it wouldn't surprise me. It actually, is my expectation that whoever takes the head coaching job, the general manager job moving forward, is going to be somebody who has a relationship with the Crafts. The relationships part of it does matter. It's not the Patriots' DNA.
It's all about relationships. All right, we're going to come back on the C Block. We're going to talk a little bit of Trent Brown. We're going to bring you out with more of Goodbye Girl. Baby, goodbye doesn't mean forever.
That's the stuff.
Trent Brown weighing in on how to team build. He spoke to NESN.com, Dakota Randall. Actually, really good story. A lot of insight from Trent on how his season went, certainly from his vantage point. But here's what he had to say about how to build the Patriots roster. Just needs to be more attention on signing and drafting good players. Check. And also understanding that Foxborough is not a vacation spot. Check. You got to spend some money to get good players. Check. And you got to spend money to keep your good players in-house. Check, 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 check. Phil, get in here. Trent Brown. Trucking sense, huh?
You missed the juiciest part, maybe, of that quote at the very end, Tom, where he talked about treating your players with human decency.
Oh.
That was strong there from Trent.
Did I jump out early?
I think there are a lot of players who would, as the kids say, co-sign to those comments from Trent Brown. Yes, plenty of players who like it here. It's good for the blue-collar guy. It's good for the old-school guy. The modern-age athlete, I'm not sure necessarily thrilled unless the dollars are there to be coming to a place like Foxborough under Bill Belichick.
Yeah, and once they're in-house, you got to treat them with some respect and common decency.
There was
as a human being.
So meet there.
All right, top 5. Here is the way the draft order shapes up. We finally have this, and we can go over this for the next 4 months. Patriots are sitting pretty at number 3. You heard me ask Kay about what the Chicago Bears should do. What would you do if you were the Bears sitting on Justin Fields and having an opportunity? He had old Caleb Williams, Drake Mayer, whoever.
You're going to trade Justin Fields and you're going to take your favorite quarterback. It's probably going to be Caleb Williams because he is the most talented in this year's draft, can throw it from any platform, any arm angle, but you're going to move on from Justin Fields, though he finished the season relatively strong. The finale, not so much, but you're going to move on from him because you're going to have to start paying him, Tom. This is just how it works in the NFL. Those quarterbacks, as they age, they get more expensive, so you got to get younger there.
Think about this. From the 2021 draft, 4 of the players who were drafted in the top 15 picks at that position could be had in this offseason for a bag of balls, basically. Mac, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, or Justin Fields. Or more than a bag of balls in a couple instances, but it's fascinating. So the Patriots are sitting there at number 3, Phil. We're going to see what they're going to do. That's it for this party.